I'm a guy that's 24. Each day I build some more. I like episode 7 and episode 8. I'm Rich Boy J. Hello boyos, Rich Boy J here back with another video, and today is going to be episode 30 of the Starkiller base mock build series. I'd like to first give a very special thanks to those of you who contributed to the live stream via donations. I really appreciate it. So shout out to Kult of Christiansen, Brickfreak, FreshBricks, Xavier SOrrent, McBrick44, BrickPlug, McBrick, and Loagn Rader. As I always say, guys, if you aren't coming to the live streams, I certainly urge you to do so. It is a great way for you to not only see the mock early, but to also hang out with some boyos, talk Star Wars. What more could you want than that? This week was a really good one. I think that just the scene that's being set behind me is just absolute chaos because you guys are seeing exclusively filler, but once we dive into the episode, you'll see I got a decent amount of progress done, namely the second wall for the hangar section. I got that almost completely done, excluding the top half of it, which is something I haven't done for either side. But enough talk, let's go ahead and make with the mock. All right, guys, so last week we worked a lot on this side of the Starkiller hangar, and this week we're taking a look at this side. So you can see I've actually built up quite a bit of these wall panel patterns. They're basically the same ones on this side. I have basically enough here to complete this bottom section. I just actually have to put the rest of the Death Star light patterns, which I actually did earlier this week too. Man, look at me getting so much progress done. So we have a ton of those stickers applied to the panels, which is actually not a quick process at all. I mean, you guys know how meticulous it can be to apply stickers to Lego sets. So imagine having that stress. I think, what is that, like over 20 times trying to ensure that those are straight, not making some of the mistakes that I made for these on this side. And I think for the most part, I actually did a pretty good job. So I have enough there for this bottom section as well. So what I'm actually going to start doing is filling in these gaps with those wall panels as well as dark gray bricks. And hopefully by the end of this episode, we'll have completed this entire wall section and maybe even the floor that sits on top of it, because there's a pretty cool pattern on the floor there, and I would actually love to have that done on both sides. One thing that I did unfortunately make a mistake on is I built up a bunch of these patterns not realizing that this middle row is actually supposed to be different. If you look on this side, you can see there's like 2 of those bars there. The middle one has 3, and then the one on the end has 2. So I'm gonna have to modify all the middle ones, so all 6 of these middle ones to actually be accurate, which actually shouldn't be that difficult of a fix, but I'm just annoyed at myself that I got so many of these done without remembering to do that. So we're gonna go ahead and work on those. I'll come back once I'm done, and maybe I'll actually add some of the light panels as well, just to go ahead and make some progress on that. So I'll see you in a sec. And look at that wall. So much progress done on this section alone. I got these light panels installed and the wall is mostly complete down here, which makes me super happy because it matches this side over here. This is so many bricks, so many dark gray bricks, and I'm running so low at this point, but I'm trying to make it stretch as much as possible. So the next step is going to be actually building the floor, which will go right above here. And the goal is to have it actually match up with this one over here, as I mentioned earlier. So what I'm actually going to do is go to my other Lego room where all my specific parts are, not the bulk parts that I use for these big builds, and I'm gonna start working on that floor, hopefully at least get the pattern done, and then maybe even work on the walls so we can have at least this section built up as far as this section is. I don't honestly think I'm going to get to doing a ceiling on this side because there's some parts that I actually would really need to continue that. That's actually why I stopped working on the ceiling over there. But I think I can at least get a floor and the walls done. Oh yeah. We have a halfway completed wall on this side. Finally, went ahead and fixed the floor up. You can see right there. Got that nice light gray and red or dark red pattern right there, and I also completed the wall here. Still missing some of the printed tiles for the panels on the walls, but the ones over here I'm actually not super thrilled with. You can see I actually used a thermal detonator for that, and I don't know, that's not really what I'd like to use there. So my plan is actually to, at some point, swap all those out with 1x1 tiles I'm just a bigger fan of. So on this side, I didn't even bother putting them on there at all. So we'll see what I decide to swap those out with. Both doors on this side are going to be closed. Actually still have to put at least somewhat of an interior through that door. Right now I just have those black plates pretty much covering up what's going to be behind it. But the reason that door has to be open, because that's the one that Ray comes out of. She's right there. And basically you'll just be able to catch a glimpse of the back wall of the hallway. So I don't have to do too much there. I just need to make sure that, like, if you're looking, from that side of the build, you can see the back side of that hallway. I don't need to really build anything else. I guess a floor as well would probably be necessary. But on this side, both doors are closed. I just threw a figure right there. I know when Ray's climbing and there's like a shot that actually looks out to that side, there's like 2 troops walking around. I'm honestly not sure what kind of troops they are because they have backpacks. They don't look like flame troopers though. I guess now that I think about it, we do actually see some like standard looking first order troops that have backpacks. I think the one from the polybag, the May the 4th trooper with extra pockets actually had that. So maybe I'll put that guy right there, or even 2 of them if I can find 2. My other consideration was doing some sort of Easter egg on this side, which honestly might still do. I can think of a few funny things to put here. Ideally, I'd really love to put the helmet dispenser on the wall here, but the build is just way too big. It's actually like this big, and the ceiling's gonna have to come out. So unfortunately, it won't fit there. So I'll probably figure out something that's kind of funny to put in here, just because, like, when you're viewing this like area from that side, like, it's not the easiest thing to view, so you kind of have to duck down and really pay close attention to it. So I think it'd be kind of rewarding for people at conventions to see something funny once they're looking in there. The next step, obviously, is to do the ceiling of that area, and of course continue with that. I have an order in that will hopefully come soon-ish that will give me the parts I need to actually finish off and basically just like replace those dark gray squares right there. That should actually be light gray plates. So hopefully that will come in. I also need some white Technic bricks, the ones with 2 holes, and then just the 1x1 Technic brick in white for the lights. Basically the reason I need that is because I realized when I turn the lights on this section, I can actually do that right now, hopefully the wiring's not messed up. But when you have it shining through these colored ones, it actually kind of changes up the way it looks on the bottom. So you can't tell super well, but I mean, you can really tell, like on that one right there, the colors just aren't consistent going all the way through it, or even the brightness isn't consistent for all of them. So I like to just use white. White's a good color for reflecting light, and that way I can make sure that all the lights are consistent and I'm getting the most amount of light coming through. So I'm gonna have to order a bunch of those because there's so many lights that go through here, and there's gonna be so many lights that shine down on that side of the hallway. So hopefully those parts will come in soon and we'll actually be able to move forward. What that does mean is that I'm not going to be counting on getting those parts in during this week like I'd like to, but I'm not entirely sure if those will come in this week. So if it does happen to be the case that I just don't get those parts in, what I'm actually going to start probably working on is the actual surface of the landing platform right here. Actually figuring out what kind of consoles and things I want there, just to really finish it off, because it's so close to being done. I'm kind of getting tired of looking at this mismatch of like red plates and random colored plates for the floor. I'd like to see that more complete. Another thing I could also work on is the wiring for the lights, although I'd probably like to get that second section built up. That way I can just knock all that wiring out at once and not have to kind of come back to it once I'm done. The one other thing I did want to show you guys before we end this week's video is what this thing looks like from this side. I know I mentioned last time I was going to do this and I just forgot to. Actually, let me go ahead and turn the light on before I do that. So I mentioned last week I was going to show you what the hallways back there look like when you're viewing it from like convention perspective, right? So if you're going to be looking at this MOC as it's meant to be presented, this is kind of the view that you'll get. And right off the bat, like I love how it looks now that I've moved those walls more closer to the middle. You can just see so much more than you could before. And that's great because I spent so much time building these sections. It would really suck if you couldn't see it very well. But right there, both walls are looking great. If you can zoom in there, you get a glimpse of Ray climbing, which honestly might be something that might surprise people. Like, I know if you're just looking at this mock like this from a pulled back view, it's not obvious like even what this is supposed to be, but I think as like people kind of look around and observe, they'll see, oh, like that's the scene where Ray's climbing, and then she's like looking out at this TIE fighter. This is the TIE fighter she wants to make her way towards to actually find the ship and get the heck off of Starkiller base. So I love the way this looks. I love it so much. I can't stress to you guys how much I love this, and I think it look even better once I get that section tiled off and like get the consoles there and just various things that are going to be in this hangar right here. So all in all, I'm super happy with this progress. Super happy that that wall is finally done. That's 2 walls out of the way, 2 more to go, specifically the ones that sit on top of those. And then, you know, once that's done, once I get this section tiled off, we're going to be done with the hangar, which is awesome. Like, this is the biggest section of the interior of Starkiller base, and once I get this knocked out, I will be basically transitioning to this side of the interior, because this is actually flipped. It'll be rotated 180 degrees, which will leave me with table space on this side to build even more interior rooms and fun stuff like cafeterias and like funny scenes and stuff like that. So I know you guys are really going to want to tune in to see that. But that is the extent of what I have for you guys this week, and get some more zoomed in shots of that hangar. Man, this is a great looking hangar. I love the way this build is turning out. Let's go ahead and go to the end of the video. And that's going to finish the video this week, guys. I hope you enjoyed checking out Starkiller Base. As always, in the comment section below, let me know what you think of the mock so far. As I discussed earlier, moving forward, I'm going to be just really trying to finish off as much of the hangar as I possibly can without the parts that I have. If it comes to be the scenario where I feel like I can even move forward with the top half of the walls, I'll certainly try to do so, but that's something that I'll really have to try to play by ear. I'm not entirely sure how much I'll be able to get done on that, but we'll see. Hopefully it all works out. We're getting so close to finishing off the hangar, I can almost taste it at this point. Once we finish off the hangar in its entirety, we're obviously going to be moving to the other side of the mock, where there's going to be more interior rooms for the base, and I think the first one I'm probably going to start off with is Snoke's room, or the big Snoke hologram room specifically, and that is going to be, I think, a big challenge to build, but also very rewarding, because I really did like that scene in The Force Awakens. But that's going to finish up the content for this week's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like always, if you like what I do, go ahead and support the video by hitting the like button, support the channel by smashing that subscribe button, and I'll be back again very soon.